Well, hello and welcome back to all my beautiful light warrior friends out there. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We're here doing the lessons of A Course in Miracles, and today we're doing lesson number 44. Got double fours, some numerology is working in our favor today. This is a good lesson compared to yesterday because I feel like yesterday required you to do a lot of thinking, required me to do a lot of remembering. 2 sentences, God is my source, I cannot see apart from him. I had to go back and keep looking at it. It was interesting. I was in an airport, 2 airports yesterday, and so I had a lot of stimulation, and it was a quick connection, so I was distracted in a lot of ways. But when I would get on the airplane, I would pull out my notebook and remember what the lesson was and do it as often as I can. So anyway, today is going to be a little lighter, a little different, and I have a fun teaching around the lesson. So I hope you enjoy. Lesson 44. God is the light in which I see. Today, we are continuing the idea for yesterday, adding another dimension to it. You cannot see in darkness, and you cannot make light. You can make darkness and then think you see in it, but light reflects life and is therefore an aspect of creation. Creation and darkness cannot coexist, but light and life must go together, being but different aspects of creation. In order to see, you must recognize that light is within, not without. You do not see outside yourself, nor is the equipment for seeing outside you. An essential part of this equipment is the light that makes seeing possible. It is with you always, making vision possible in every circumstance. Today, we are going to attempt to reach that light. For this purpose, we will use a form of exercise which has been suggested before and which we will utilize increasingly. It is a particularly difficult form for the undisciplined mind and represents a major goal of mind training. It requires precisely what the untrained mind lacks. Yet this training must be accomplished if you are to see. Have at least 3 practice periods today, each lasting 3 to 5 minutes. A longer time is highly recommended, but only if you find the time slipping by with little or no sense of strain. The form of practice we will use today is the most natural and easy one in the world for the trained mind, just as it seems to be the most unnatural and difficult for the untrained mind. So that'll determine how this feels for you today. Mind trained or mind untrained? You be the judge. Your mind is no longer wholly untrained. You are quite ready to learn the form of exercise we will use today, but you may find that you will encounter strong resistance. The reason is very simple. While you practice in this way, you leave behind everything that you now believe and all the thoughts that you have made up. Properly speaking, this is the release from hell. Yet perceived through the ego's eyes, it is loss of identity and a descent into hell. Ooh. If you can stand aside from the ego by ever so little, you will have no difficulty in recognizing that its opposition and its fears are meaningless. You might find it helpful to remind yourself from time to time that to reach light is to escape from darkness, whatever you may believe to the contrary. God is the light in which you see. You are attempting to reach him. Begin the practice period by repeating today's idea with your eyes open and close them slowly, repeating the idea several times more. Then try to sink into your mind, letting go of every kind of interference and intrusion by quietly sinking past them. Your mind cannot be stopped in this unless you choose to stop it. It is merely taking its natural course. Try to observe your passing thoughts without involvement and slip quietly by them. While no particular approach is advocated for this form of exercise, what is needful is a sense of the importance of what you are doing, its inestimable value to you, and an awareness that you are attempting something very holy. Salvation is your happiest accomplishment. It is also the only one that has any meaning because it is the only one that has any real use to you at all. If resistance rises in any form, pause long enough to repeat today's idea, keeping your eyes closed unless you are aware of fear. In that case, you will probably find it more reassuring to open your eyes briefly. Try, however, to return to the exercises with eyes closed as soon as possible. If you are doing the exercises correctly, you should experience some sense of relaxation and even a feeling you are approaching, if not actually entering, into the light. Try to think of light, formless and without limit, as you pass by the thoughts of this world, and do not forget that you cannot hold, those thoughts, cannot hold you to the world unless you give them the power to do so. Throughout the day, repeat the idea often, with eyes open or closed, as seems better to you at the time. But do not forget. Above all, be determined not to forget today. So we're going to start to get those reminders a little bit more. Don't forget, don't forget. So a couple things. When I was reading this lesson this morning, I thought about that diagram from Ken Wapnick's notes yesterday. So his diagram, he says, the decision maker, that is the identity that we made, our soul incarnated into this lifetime. I have the name of Sherry. So that's kind of my understanding of who the decision maker is this aspect of my soul that is present right now. So where he talks about perception, he has the world, which is like the body and everything we perceive with our sensory organs of the body. Then we go into the ego mind, which is the level of thought, but it's all these thoughts that we created that are focused on hate, guilt, judgment, resentment, fear, depression, unhappiness, yada, yada, yada. Then moving down deeper, you have the Holy Spirit or right mind or real thoughts, which the Course in Miracles is bringing us in contact with. And then at the very lowest level of this diagram is knowledge or God, which are also real thoughts. So what I imagine with this is this idea of descending down into the mind. So I think it's totally an inversion, because when we think of the light, we look up at the sun, we raise our hands up in prayer. But when it comes to the mind and our perception turning inward, we're actually sinking down, 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 and the light is actually below, in a way, if that makes sense to you. Even in this diagram, it's like this is sort of the crappiest level, the level of, torture and suffering. And the deeper you go down the stairs into the mind, that's where the light is. So I was just imagining this idea of, when I was doing my meditation with this lesson before I jumped on the camera here, of like walking down a set of stairs. And as I was, and you can just close your eyes and kind of go along with me. So God is the light in which I see. That thought is in my mind, that statement is in my mind. And then, I do have some thoughts that are floating around, and I'm going down, I'm going in between them. There's space in between the thoughts always. I'm going down, down, down this staircase, and the staircase starts to get so narrow that I have to actually turn around and hold onto it like a ladder and walk down it backwards. And I'm kind of looking over my shoulder, and I notice there's this like trap door in the basement floor. So I'm down as deep as I can go, and I see this light, and I open up the light, or I open up the door, and this light is so bright, it's like spilling out around me, and I just jump into it. And that is the way that I can, be fearless enough to detach from my ego's hold on me, which has me holding on to this ladder that I'm descending down as my thoughts are kind of like passing me by. And when I open up this trap door and jump into the light, I'm released from everything. And also in that moment, I notice I don't have a body anymore. So my consciousness is just like shooting around this light area. There's no limit to it. It's just this open, flowing kind of space that is endless and beautiful. And I feel completely safe. And I did start to get that feeling of relaxation. So I think it also might help you if you have some cool sunglasses from the 80s, or if you just have sunglasses at all. When you're doing this today, if you have a chance to get over your ego's ideas about what we're doing with the Course in Miracles, but put on something that when you close your eyes, it actually darkens your vision a little bit more, so that when you're doing this, it brings you into a space of like better concentration, and it's going to seem darker from the body's eyes. But remember, you're descending down, 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 maybe into like the darkest point of your vision, your body's vision. And that's where the light is. So have fun with that today. Go grab your sunglasses and do your meditation with that, because you are teaching yourself to be opposite of what the ego thinks we should be doing. And, even our understanding of where the light is, it's up. The sun is up. But in the Course in Miracles, the light is within, and it's deep, and it's down. So that's, I don't know, it's just what helped me out today with the meditation. And I'll do this today a few times. And remember, we are being taught how to meditate. Okay, so when you close your eyes and you have a thought, you're being told to focus on God is the light in which I see, you know that there's going to be thoughts. Things are going to pop in because the ego wants to distract you from that. Another visual that I had as I was doing this meditation was a water slide. So there are some people who are super excited, and they get to the top of the ladder and they jump into the water slide, and they're so excited. It's completely dark and they're just slipping and sliding. And then at the hole at the bottom is where the light is. And then you hit the water and you are kind of formless for a minute until you gain your bearings again. Now, there are some people who get into a water slide and they're afraid. They don't know where they're going. They're sliding really fast. They don't trust that what's going to, help them on the outside is actually going to really be fun. So you can look at it that way too. The ego is afraid of the water slide, but your higher mind, the mind of the Holy Spirit, the God mind, is like, get in that water slide and, trust that this black darkness that you're going through and the speed with which you're flying is actually accelerating your consciousness evolution, your ascension. Your ascension, which kind of means like up, but your physical body is actually descending. So I don't know, play around with opposites today, grab your cool sunglasses and have fun with this. God is the light in which I see, God is the light in which you see, and I will see you back here again tomorrow. Lots of love to you. Mwah. Take care.